What's up, everybody? This is Ryan and Drew with R&D Podcast. We are back again this week to talk about video games, what's the latest news, and what we're playing. I'm Ryan, and Drew is my co-host here, and we'll get right into things.
I have here is the GTA 6 got delayed. Shocker. Um, I Not much we really have to talk about that. It moved from like May to November, I believe. It's like November 16th
Yeah,
now.
something really interesting about that, though, I think, is how Grand Theft Auto is, part of the what makes it so iconic is how it has like a commentary on like current events and the current
Mm-hmm.
like pop culture climate.
Mm-hmm.
And because this game has been delayed so many times, I kind of wonder about the
Is
story
it
and
gonna
if it
be
will
a
be relevant. There might be some like
yeah.
old references in there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there might. That's a really fair point. I don't know.
Hmm.
They may have thought about it and tried to make it as timeless as possible um and everything, but yeah, that'll be interesting to see. I think it'll look cool. Another game that I saw that got delayed was that Marvel 1943 game, but I won't believe that game exists until they show us gameplay. GTA 6 I
I just
believe
assume every
exists.
Marvel game. I just assume every Marvel game that they announce, besides anything made by Insomniac, is going to get canceled.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll just have to see about that one. But yeah, not much to talk about GTA 6. I think it's fine. Like, I mean, I'm generally not going to be upset about delays unless like a studio's really lying about something, but make the
Yeah.
game they don't want a cyberpunk situation.
And
So
based on the trailers, I think they got something
yeah, yeah.
something good cooking. I mean,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
have they never miss. So
Yeah, I'll be
I
very
take
interested to
take all the
see
time you
the
need.
the depth that they've put into the world and the immersion.
Yeah,
So that's I think the
agreed.
thing they've been going for. But yeah, Call of Duty Black Ops 7 is out,
The
and
campaign is weird
the campaign is weird.
by all accounts.
I'll admit I have not played it. I have watched footage and stuff, but what I've seen is yikes. um,
Yeah. Well, I thought at first that people were just spreading misinformation, like because I know they've been doing. Well, I'm not a zombies guy. Like
mhm,
I bought Black Ops 6, which was like my first Call of Duty in several years,
mhm.
but I never touched the zombies. I played multiplayer only. I didn't even play the campaign. Um, but I had assumed that people were sort of like sending around videos of the zombies campaign because I know they've been
Mhm.
doing like these campaigns. But
Yeah.
no, that was actually just like the regular campaign is this
Mhm.
like fever dream of like
Yeah.
giant monsters and
Yeah.
weird shit going on, floating platforms, and it looks awful.
And
I don't know.
that one guy from Heroes, Milo Ventimiglia, I think that's how you pronounce his name.
They always
Um
have some celebrity actors in there,
yeah.
yeah.
And yeah, it's wild because I've heard that like everything else is pretty solid. Multiplayer seems like it's kind of gone back to like basics. They've slowed the movement down a bit so it doesn't feel it's just like you're just these crazy fast super soldier sort of
See,
thing.
I liked Black Ops 6.
Mhm.
Like the multiplayer was fun. I think there's a good balance of like
Mhm.
small, chaotic, dumb maps and bigger maps.
Mhm.
So they've been trying to like stick to that boots on the ground feel for a while now because I think
Yeah.
people get really mad when it's like
Mhm.
ADHD, the video game or
When it's
whatever.
like the
But
what was that one? Infinity War where you had like those exosuits and stuff.
yeah, they did it with Advanced
Advanced
Warfare or whatever.
Warfare,
There's a
that's what
bunch
it
of
was.
them. Yeah, there are a bunch like that. But yeah, I don't know how this one's gonna do. I was looking at the Steam charts before this. I don't think it broke. It was just around 100,000 at launch,
Oh
which is
wow.
like abysmal for them.
Mhm.
I think that they have been around the 600,000 range for new Call of Duty launches. It's hard to
Mhm.
tell because they've done this dumb thing for the past like 5 to 10 years where all of the Call of Duty games roll up under one launcher or like
Yeah,
one
yeah, that launcher's
application.
horrible.
So it's hard to, well, yeah, it's an awful thing. And also on PlayStation, you get the added complication of like you never get a platinum trophy for the games because they show up as
Mhm.
DLC
Yeah.
for each game. Um, but yeah, that being said, it's hard to track player counts because everybody across like the past three COD games is online.
Yeah.
Anyway, it
Mhm.
doesn't look super good in terms of
I've
first impressions
mhm.
and then
I've
also
heard the
just
zombies
like
is fine.
overall
I've heard
volume.
it's really just the campaign that's terrible. Everything
Yeah,
else seems to
that's
be
probably true.
fine for the most part.
Yeah.
I haven't been up on Call of Duty since like the newer Modern Warfare 2. Um I think that was the last one I bought. Um,
I think the other criticism I saw about this campaign is I think similar to Modern Warfare Modern Warfare 3 2, like the
yeah,
the Modern Warfare reboot series, the third game,
yeah,
they tried to do all these like open world environments where I think it was
hmm
like more of like a trying to save money by like
yeah,
using war zone areas for
yeah.
campaign missions. Apparently, there's a little bit of that in this campaign too for Black Ops 7.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I've heard the
yeah.
multiplayer maps are a little better. They're kind of back to like the Treyarch, like 3 lane, sort of
Hmm.
multiplayer maps. Um, but yeah, I mean, I got Call of Duty for the campaigns and for zombies. I wasn't a huge multiplayer guy. Like I'd kind of play it, but like not that wasn't what got me to get the game. And so when I hear the story's bad
Right.
or something, or like it doesn't feel like they've really done anything interesting with the campaign for a long time. So I haven't had much interest in it. Another thing that I found was odd though is that a certain game mode is only unlocked through playing the campaign, which kind of goes back to like I feel like older games where like you play through the campaign, you unlock a certain mode, and it's a pretty like important. It's like their extraction shooter mode. You have to play through the
Oh.
campaign to get it, and
Wasn't that
like
the way Zombies was in World at War when they first
yes,
introduced it? Then you had to beat it was like kind of
yeah,
an Easter egg. It was like
you had to
hidden
beat the
even, I
game.
think.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
you had to beat the game to get
Yeah.
zombies, and then or zombies don't want to use that word.
Yeah, you can't say that.
Can't say that word. I'll bleep myself. Um, but so I it's funny because like usually I don't think anyone would have an issue with that. Oh, maybe some people would who's like I gotta play who don't play Call of Duty for the campaign. But like I think it was an interesting idea if the campaign weren't complete dog water. So
Right.
um
Yeah. I think the other thing that was bizarre about the campaign is that it's online all the time, so you cannot pause it.
yeah, that
If you
sucks.
have a some sort of disconnect
Mm-hmm.
or server issue, you will be booted to the main menu.
Mm-hmm.
You can't play offline.
I think like
And I
doing
think
co-op
it
with the
auto match
campaign's
makes you as
cool.
well.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
is it required co-op? Like you
It's
can't
not
play it.
required, but it's on by default. It's strongly suggested that
That's
you
so
play co-op.
dumb. Like I
Yeah,
I
it kind
don't.
of makes it feel a little cheap when I feel
Mm-hmm.
like they do that. Like
That's
I
how
kind
the
of
campaigns have felt to me since like
yeah.
the first modern warfare was decent enough. But like yeah, the campaigns have just really felt like an afterthought. And sometimes they
It's
don't even
weird because
have one. So
I think this is also the second time in a row where they are doing the same sub franchise back to back. So they did
hmm
Modern Warfare 2 and then Modern Warfare 3, and it was dog water, Modern Warfare 3. So like people were like really disappointed because they kind of like rushed it out the door. And then they're doing a similar thing here where last year was Black Ops 6, and then we're doing Black Ops again, I guess. And like,
hmm
I honestly think I don't understand that strategy
hmm
because you part of it is the allure of like you wait a few years and then the next one comes out. Like this is like, I mean, it's already difficult because it's an annual franchise and you've sort of watered
hmm
down the value proposition or the excitement, and then now you're doing like the same game again. I mean, I know it's like I think the one last year was set in like the Cold War era or whatever, the 90s,
yeah.
and then this one set in the future setting, but it's still Black Ops
hmm
6 7. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was turned off immediately when I was like, oh, we're doing this again.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was always nice when they would cycle through them because it felt like each one had enough of a development cycle to make it feel fresh and
Hmm.
interesting.
Yeah.
And now
It
it's
also
just
takes like 18 different studios to make these games now. I
yeah.
don't know if you see like it's weird because it
Well,
used to
it doesn't
be,
surprise me with how huge the game files are.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I think it's
Um,
also just like keeping up with that annual release schedule and the fact that games are
mhm,
becoming, bigger, like more, the budget keeps like expanding
mhm.
exponentially. I think that's
Yeah.
probably part of it.
I've never been a big fan of annual release schedule. It's but like as soon as like we hit like the PS3 era, like or like I guess starting maybe in the PS4 era, I feel like the annual release schedule really started to affect the
Yeah.
series negatively. And like what would happen if they just did something like every other year? And gave their studios each basically an extra year of development.
Right.
And in between, you could just have a small team do some DLC for the current game. Everyone's got people are gonna buy it. They buy all the other stupid crap in the Call of Duty game, like the Seth Rogen skin and stuff. That's another issue I have with Call of Duty. Is all that stuff is really
Hmm.
dumb and really
Well,
stupid.
they're in a weird spot because they've had to keep up the Warzone
Mm-hmm.
experience across these games, and I
Yeah.
think that's what's led to this unified COD launcher. But then it makes
Yeah.
every expansion, or if he makes, I'm calling them expansions, every
They
release
are
each year
expansions.
feel less exciting and
Mm-hmm.
watered down because they just
Yeah.
feel like
Yeah.
expansions or
Yeah.
something. Yeah,
Absolutely. Um,
yeah.
let's see the anything else you want to say before we move on?
No, I think I'm good on that one. Oh,
Okay.
actually, I have one question for
Yep.
you.
Yep.
So my first question is actually it's two questions. Will you pick this up? I think we both said no.
Yeah, I don't see myself do like if it comes free on like PlayStation or something or like the Epic Game Store,
Yeah,
maybe. But like I mean, I don't pay attention to the free games on Epic Game Store very much.
you're
And
not going
I
to pay $30 a month to play it on Game Pass.
no, definitely not. So yeah, I would say no, I'm not gonna pick it up.
And then what was the last COD game that you bought?
I think it was Modern Warfare 2. It might have even been the first Modern Warfare. I'm not sure. Like I have Cold War, but that came with my computer when I bought it um as like a like an extra add-on, and I like never played it. Um but so the one I officially bought was the newer Modern Warfare, like 2019, I think.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. That's probably the best one
mhm.
like recently. I had Cold War as well, but it was one of those things where like they were really pushing the advertising campaign. It's back to boots on the ground. Like this is
Mhm.
traditional Call of Duty, and like it was just kind of whatever. It was okay. Black Ops 6 I thought was pretty good. Like I said, I didn't play the campaign or zombies, but um, by all accounts, it doesn't seem like I'm missing too much with this new one. So
No,
I want to pick it up.
I don't think we are either. So,
Okay.
next on the list was PlayStation recently and Bungie recently had some news and about Destiny 2, and I know
Yeah.
this is your forte right here. I don't know a ton about that. I just saw that they're adding lightsabers. I was just like, what? What is going on with this franchise?
I think if you were somebody who hasn't checked in on Destiny 2 for a couple years, you'd be pretty shell shocked on what's going on right
Mhm.
now. You just go and look at either one of the trailers or some of the
I
online
played it at
discourse, and it's like
launch and
it's a shit show right
yeah.
now. So essentially, and this, I mean, it's news in the sense that Sony came out and made a statement, but it's not news in the sense that this is in the spirit of Bungie is not doing well. I think that's the bottom line. So
Yeah.
essentially, the headline was in the last week that Sony took a 204 million impairment loss on Bungie on the acquisition of Bungie. So essentially, what that means is that they are admitting that they overpaid for Bungie when they bought them almost 5 years ago now for 3.6 billion
Yeah, they
dollars, which is like
definitely
that's like I'm pretty sure
that's
that Star Wars
crazy.
cost 4 billion for
Mhm.
Disney. So like make this make sense. It does not make sense.
The only way
Um,
that that it could have even been considered for that to have been like a reasonable purchase would have been if Bungie kept Halo, which never would have happened.
exactly. Yeah. No,
And
that's
even
exactly right.
then,
Like this isn't 2007 or 2010
mhm.
Bungie. This is I believe it was like 2019 Bungie that they were
Yeah,
probably looking at,
yeah, and how
which they'd been
many?
struggling for years with a vision for Destiny. I feel like,
Mhm.
it's been in an abusive relationship
Yeah,
for
part
people
of it
like
was
me
with
who've
act
been playing
the
it.
issues with Activision,
Yeah.
and I don't know how I don't know how Marathon's gonna turn out.
Hmm.
So I know you can't
Yeah.
talk too much about it, but
Yeah. Well. So like put things in perspective about how bad Destiny is doing right now, right? Like, um, on a regular basis right now, the player count's sort of sitting around 20,000 players on Steam. It's not been in the top 10 for over a year now, and basically for the last expansion that came out, only 1/3 of the player volume showed up for release that did the last expansion. So the final
hmm
shape had around like 300,000 players, which another thing is like from a marketing perspective, you call this expansion the final shape. People are going to take it literally and be like, "This is the final expansion. This is the
yeah,
final Destiny thing.
100%,
I'm
yeah.
done. I'm moving on." So people saw it as an easy drop off point, but I don't think they expected it to be, to the point that Edge of Fate, the last expansion, only
hmm
reached 100,000 players on release day. Um, Actually, very similar performance to the new Call of Duty. So, Activision and Bungie clearly took inspiration from each other over the
hmm
years because they put out dog shit. Sorry, that was really rude, but
No,
yeah, and
it's
it's
true.
unfortunate. I really love Destiny. Like at its peak, it's a really fun gameplay loop. I think when the loot is really rewarding and you're doing things with your
Hmm.
friends, it can be some of the best stuff in games. But
Hmm.
it's such a hamster wheel, like time suck, and it's
Hmm.
sort of just a slot machine at a slop machine with a P. Just trying to like I mean, years ago they had some sort of game developer conference presentation, which the guy who gave this presentation is now in charge of Destiny. Actually, no, he just took over the studio. He's the studio head at Bungie now, which is like a little concerning. But anyway, he gave some analog where like or some metaphor where Bungie has now turned into a train station rather than a boxed product developer. So it's no longer
Hmm.
about like releasing these boxed products every few years. It's like how do we keep the train station moving? How do we keep content
Hmm.
flowing? And it's just like it's like a production line, right? It doesn't feel
Yeah.
very there's not these like meaningful releases all the time anymore. Now they've budgets sort of decreased for these releases. They're doing two expansions a year, which leads me to, I mean, I don't know they have not said anything beyond what the next expansion is, which releases only in a couple weeks, and no one is talking about it. I mean, you mentioned lightsabers
Only
because
because
it is
I only knew about this because I looked it up.
yeah.
I was like, what's going on with Destiny right now? And it was like lightsabers. I was like, I mean, that's kind of cool, but also why?
Well, people are seeing it as like a desperate attempt to claw back a player base that's
Hmm.
already sort of left. But it's like an officially licensed Star Wars
Yeah.
expansion that is not set in the Star Wars universe, but like supposed to be inspired by Star Wars. It's
Yeah.
called Renegades.
Hmm.
Anyway, I don't know what happens if this isn't a hit, right? Like they reached only 100K players on Edge of Fate, which released about 3, 4 months ago now. I don't know how they, I'm sure this expansion will be better than Edge of Fate. It always sort of ends up this way that like they have one sort of, you know, uh, crappy one and then the next one sort of hits. But I don't see a world where they get that
Hmm.
300K returning player base. People have moved on. They need a Destiny 3. I think it's nonsense that they did not have this in the pipeline. I think everyone sort of agrees on that. But their next big thing, beyond releasing Renegades is Marathon, which I have played. I played in the alpha, that wasn't NDA'd, but the alpha was it just felt very hollow. It wasn't a super fulfilling like gameplay loop. I think you're seeing Arc Raiders right now sort of pop off and revitalize the extraction shooter scene. I don't know if there's a place for Marathon.
Hmm.
I think they've been talking about how they've been taking player feedback, and I think that's really evident in some of the things you're hearing. So props to them for that in terms of implementing basic features and things that people have been asking for. But still, I mean, they got a lot to do to make that.
Hmm.
It's less than a certain hit. So
I
I wish
think
them all
it's
luck.
really interesting how like everything I've heard about like Bungie employees talking about how running a live service game is an absolute nightmare and they
Yep.
seem to hate it. Like they basically convinced Naughty Dog to cancel the Last of Us multiplayer thing because there's like it's gonna take everything to keep that going. Um, which
Yeah.
Naughty
Well,
Dog.
that's one thing we didn't talk about. Like to your point, part of the
Hmm.
purchase of Bungie was not just Destiny or
Hmm.
in Marathon, which was in the pipeline. They had all these incubation projects on their end that they were experimenting with different things. One of those projects has been spun out called Gummy Bears. It's now like at a new PlayStation studio.
Hmm.
So good luck to that team as well. But by all accounts, that game actually might be good. Like people are saying behind the scenes that it's playtesting really well. But what you were just referencing was that they were also purchased to consult on Sony's live service efforts, right? They were supposed to go around to all these different studios that were, working on live service games. There was a God of War live service game at Blue Point Games. There was this Last of Us Factions, which evolved into its
Hmm.
own game and was
Hmm.
canceled pretty far along in development. Essentially, they said to Naughty Dog, like, you have to be ready to, like, to your point, like,
Hmm.
doing a live service game is soul sucking. I think it like seems to be the
100%.
case, right? Like, you cannot allocate studio resources to anything but that game. Um, and so, yeah, I mean, I think there are reasons why they came in and they said
Hmm.
no, but it's funny because like throughout all of this they weren't worth that purchase. I mean, whether it's the
Yeah.
consulting on live service games, it's like a death kiss, this whole live
PlayStation
service
has
thing.
made some of the worst financial decisions in the gaming industry in
Concord.
a long time. And it's just it's incredible how so many companies, obviously besides these huge companies like Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo, like making all these mistakes would put so many things under. And the fact that PlayStation has wasted almost the entire PlayStation 5 life cycle on
Right.
game on like 80% of the game, that might be too much, but like so many of the games in their pipeline um got canceled in this live service thing, and it has been an astronomical failure because
Hmm.
and this is me, I guess, just kind of playing around with ideas. This isn't exactly what happened. I'm not claiming to be a source on this or anything, but it just feels like a bunch of suits were just like, hey, look at that Fortnite, let's make a bunch of studios do that, and
No,
like
that's definitely it.
we'll get Fortnite. And they didn't. They haven't had. They've had one um successful or like somewhat successful live service thing out of this whole thing, because I would argue Destiny 2 was even before this whole live service push
Yeah.
started happening. um would have been
Helldivers.
Helldivers. Yeah, that's it. And like even then it's still not Fortnite money.
Sure.
And just like, yeah, and like you said, Concord was just it's such an odd thing. It's like, just because it wasn't an immediate hit, I was like, we're not sinking any more money into this, we're canceling it, we're refunding people, this was a terrible idea. And it's just like Fortnite was
Well,
such a specific game for such a specific time. If Fortnite had come out at like almost any other time, I don't know if it would have went off as it did. Now it just had the right gameplay loop, and like where everyone had time to play and wanted to play and were desperate for social interaction. That Fortnite was
yeah.
kind of perfect for it. You could play with your friends, and you could build goofy things and fight other people. It was great. Not that I don't think Fortnite could have been, it would have been a success a few years later or whatever, but like I just think it like timing matters. And it's just so weird to put all this into a game that's kind of like Overwatch, and then just not even like giving it a chance to grow anything. Like, and it's happened with quite a few games. Like Amazon is kind of famous for doing this with like Crucible and stuff. They release a game, they put it out, it's like, oh, it's not immediately making billions of dollars, cancel it. um so it's
Well,
just,
I
which
think
just
there's a
means.
fundamental. I was gonna say there's a fundamental misunderstanding about how many live service games that like people want, right? Like there are
Yeah.
people who still play Fortnite on their PlayStation 4. They did not even upgrade to a PlayStation 5, and they
Yeah.
won't because they play one game.
Yeah.
People don't have the capacity to, people. I don't know if you call them like a lifestyle game, but people
Yeah.
latch onto one game, right? Like mine was Destiny 2
hmm
for a long time. Like
hmm
there was no way I was going to take on anything else. I tried to pick up Diablo 4, and that
Yeah.
didn't really work out because I just didn't have like time in my
Yeah.
schedule to get it in. So all these people are like addicted to, like, not addicted, but they're totally consumed by one game,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. That's
people don't have time for your other live service thing that
yeah,
also is asking
100%.
for like a time suck.
Yeah, every person I feel
Yeah.
like generally has time for one, maybe two live service games, and that's if that's your only gaming thing, is live service games. Like, it's definitely
Yeah.
not mine. I play
And Sony had
mostly.
like five in the pipeline. Talk
hmm
about cannibalizing.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
and
I don't understand that.
how much money they sunk into it, and how much
Yeah.
time and developers they wasted, how many careers that this affected, because it probably burnt out so many people.
Yep.
It's just been an absolute nightmare. I mean, like, I feel like
Yeah.
right before this was that kind of big push against like video game crunch, where like it was kind of
Hmm.
like that whole thing about, like, once again, Naughty Dog came out and there was like, there's a lot of crunch. um
Yeah.
and it wasn't just Naughty Dog, obviously, and crunch is definitely still a thing, but it's just one of those things where it's like, I feel like it also kind of burned out us as well, because it's just like all these games getting canceled. I mean, like, I can understand if something's not working. Like, sometimes
Yeah.
you put time into something and it's just really not working, and it's time to pull the plug on it. Like, that does happen. But like,
Yep.
it just that push that Sony had for this, just like it took away so much time of like games we could have had.
Hmm.
And like the PlayStation 5 has already had such a weird life cycle, like coming out during COVID and like their supply chain issues, a lot of people
Yep.
not being able to get one. Like I consider myself very lucky being able to get a PS5 as early as I did, without going through scalpers and stuff. Um, and
Yeah, that was a weird time.
and like it still doesn't feel like we've reached like the next gen of gaming. I feel like we're still in like the PS4 Pro era. Like we barely reached games
Yeah.
that it feels like can't run on PS4.
I mean, it's been
um
very incremental in terms of, you know, like that experience jump. I feel like from PS4 to PS4 Pro was the 4K element, right?
yeah.
And then from PS4 Pro to PS5, it's still 4K, but now it's 60 frames per second. But that's about as
hmm
far as we've gotten. I think the PS5
yeah.
Pro sort of overpromised to some degree. I mean,
Yeah.
I was an early adopter of I jumped on the PS5 Pro when it came out, but I don't feel like that's fully been worth it at this point, especially because like playing third party experiences like Alan Wake 2, which has had graphical issues. Basically,
hmm
anything on Unreal Engine has had graphical issues
yeah.
like Silent Hill. Um, so, yeah, I feel like, I don't know. And
Which
it feels like the next generation's right around the corner. I think Xbox is planning to do something the next year,
yeah.
but
Which
there's still a lot going on.
talking about that Unreal 5
Yeah.
issues, later, if you guys wait around for the end of this video, there might be a certain piece of hardware that might help solve that issue of not having as many Unreal issues. But we'll get into that in a bit. um Anything else you want to talk about the Bungie Destiny 2
Good luck,
PlayStation? Yeah, good luck, guys.
because you're gonna need it.
I surely hope that PlayStation and Bungie can really find their footing. Because I guess my last thing is that's not necessarily specifically about Bungie, but it still kind of pertains to, because of like the last faction things. Like Naughty Dog hasn't put out a new game since two
2019.
yeah
It was
2019
2019.
2019.
Yeah.
And it just like this the whole PS5 cycle they haven't had a game out. And I mean the PS3 cycle was definitely their like big explosion. Obviously they were known for like the Jack and Daxter games and stuff before that, but
Yeah.
like the PS3 era with the Uncharted and The Last of Us, they were pumping them out left and right. But now it just feels like we're getting one maybe once
Yeah.
a
And I'm a
console
little
cycle.
skeptical of that new game.
Intergalactic.
Intergalactic. Yeah, it's just kind of a strange. I mean, they didn't. I mean, it's too early to judge, but it was
hmm
just kind of like,
I think it looks
I
cool.
don't know.
I like the vibes that it's got. Kind of feels a little Cowboy Bebop. Um,
Yeah, a little bit. Oh, I was wrong. Sorry. Last of Us Part Two came out in 2020.
2020. Okay, yeah, I was about to say it's the same.
Yeah,
It was the same year as Ghost of Tsushima. So whenever that came out,
and yeah, it
literally
was the same year
like it was
as
1 month
the
apart.
PS5. It was like just before the PS5.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, they both came out like right before the PS5 came out. But
Yeah,
anyway, so there's the Halo remake. They're remaking the
yeah,
first
somewhat Bungie
campaign.
related.
Yeah, somewhat Bungie related. If we're gonna could have probably found a better segue there. But yeah, Halo campaign evolved.
Hmm.
Being built completely in Unreal 5, um
Or is it? There's more to that.
yeah, oh yeah, they're
Do you know
using
about
some of
this?
they're kind of doing what Oblivion did, right? The Oblivion remastered.
Yeah. So, but it's weird
Uh
though because they're not using the sorry to backtrack really fast, but
no,
I
you're
don't.
good.
Sony should put Bungie on a traditional single player and multiplayer suite game that is a spiritual successor to Halo. Okay, let's just leave it at that.
100%.
Move on from the live service crap. Get them back, cooking. I know a lot of the original people aren't there, but like that's the spirit of that studio, and go back to that.
Yeah,
Anyway,
100%.
the
I
the
just to add
yeah,
on to that, I 100% agree with you. I think
yeah.
I think there needs to go back to a push of letting studios do what they want to do. Cause like I mean like Insomniac had all these DLCs planned for Spider-Man 2, um, and didn't come out with any of them because of that one multiplayer one that took up so much time, and they just canceled it all because it was like everything about Spider-Man is costing too much money. And it sucks because like Spider-Man 2 was decent. Like I liked it, but like at the same time, like it felt
It was like
a,
insanely expensive. Wasn't it like $300 million to develop or something?
yeah, it was super expensive to develop. I thought you were about to say as just a purchase, but like
Yeah,
it
$70.
was,
It's not
yeah,
great either.
because it just felt a little empty. It needed a little bit more to it, and that's what I was hoping to get out of DLC. Even if I had to pay an extra 10, $20 for it, it would have been nice to be able to do a little bit more. So it's
Hmm.
just it's all of this live action service stuff has affected not only just like we're not getting any of these games that were promised. It's like it's affecting the games that we did get and
Yeah.
other single player experiences as well, just because of all
The
this.
opportunity cost,
Yeah, yeah,
because we're
one
not they're
hundred
not
percent.
we're not putting the manpower or the money into those experiences anymore. Which actually does make me happy about back to the Halo remake.
Mm-hmm.
I am glad that they're doing a single player focused sort
Mm-hmm.
of, I don't want to call it a reboot because it's really a remake, but
Yeah,
sort of
it's
getting back to the spirit of
it's
what
a
made
test
it,
for the Unreal Engine, is what it is.
yeah. But
Um.
but yeah, so like the engine is really interesting, right? Because they're not using the Halo 1 Halo Combat Evolved engine
Mm-hmm.
underneath. It's actually the Halo Reach engine to the point
Oh
where
yeah, you
people
did
were
mention that.
playtesting it
Mm-hmm.
when they revealed it. So they did this really cool fan event where it was the Halo Championship Series, the final one with Halo Infinite. They just like wrapped that up, but they revealed this at that. And simultaneously with the announcement, they let people play the game live there at the event. And so people immediately picked up on just like even like micro animations of like some of some of the Covenant or the way that the Warthog sort of physics felt. And so yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's Unreal Engine layered on top, Unreal Engine 5 layered on top of the Halo Reach engine, which is very
Mm-hmm.
interesting combo.
Yeah, yeah, and it's funny because Oblivion Remastered did this. They were used
Yeah.
Unreal 5 on top of the Creation Engine, but they specifically used the version of the Creation Engine that Oblivion was on. They didn't use the
Hmm.
Skyrim engine, so Sky Oblivion is
Which was
still somewhat.
Gamebryo. It was before creation.
Yeah, yeah.
Gamebryo engine. Yeah.
Um, so Sky Oblivion is still its own thing. It'll be interesting to compare
Yeah.
them. But
Which isn't that supposed to be out by now? What the hell's going on there?
It's a bunch of fans that are passionate trying to make the game. There's probably, yeah, but at the same time, like it's gonna take them what it's gonna take them.
I
Life
know nothing about
happens.
how to make a game, so don't
Yeah, I'm
ask
not.
me.
I don't know. They probably spent a lot of time playing the remastered version and maybe having a slight identity crisis. Like, should we even keep doing this now? But
Well,
I think they
it's
should.
interesting though because I think there are two criticisms of the Halo remake so far that are very similar to I think some of the criticisms about the Oblivion remaster,
Hmm.
and those are Unreal Engine performance issues, which as you were traversing Cyrodiil, you would get these traversal hitches where the game would. Do a shader compilation and reload
Hmm.
in,
Yeah.
some assets, and it would really like you'd get a pretty bad hitch.
Hmm.
Similarly, you're seeing that in the gameplay demos for Halo. What is it called? Combat?
Campaign
No, what is
evolved.
it?
Campaign
Campaign
evolved
Evolved.
instead of
Thank you.
combat
Yeah, it's a
evolved.
fun name. It's a fun
Yeah,
name. It's fine.
yeah.
But yeah, like when they're in the Warthog and shit, and like I think even in the first cutscene, you like immediately see when it cuts between shots and it shows Master Chief in the Pelican. You can see that frame rate drop. You can see that thing tank. So that just seems to be common Unreal thing. I mean, I don't think
Yep.
this game will come out
Hmm.
for a year. The
No,
25th
yeah.
anniversary of Halo 1 is next November, so I think maybe a year from now
That
we'll
sounds
see
about
it
right.
for real. But the other complaint, which is also similar to Oblivion, is with these Unreal games, especially when they're layering the graphics like that, you get to the point where it's like, when they did, somebody on like Instagram was like, this is what Mario would look like in Unreal Engine. And it's just like super hyper realistic, like assets and stuff. And like, it's not really like stylized or it loses its sort of like,
Yeah.
that's how this kind of feels to some degree. Like things are like
Hmm.
ultra shiny, things are ultra futuristic looking. I think
Hmm.
Master Chief looks really good, and I think the framing of the cutscenes, like the direction, looks
Hmm.
awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, some of the assets I think they might need to revisit. I think people are complaining because I think some of them are uh, basically direct asset rips from Halo Infinite, which Halo
Hmm.
Infinite looked cool. I think the art style was back to like its roots,
Yeah.
but Halo 1 has a very unique look that everyone would agree on.
Mm-hmm.
That's like that early 2000s aesthetic. Lots
Yeah.
of like these blues and purples and
Mm-hmm.
not colors that would traditionally be cool, like considered cool today. And I think
Mm-hmm.
it would be nice to see more of that in this remake. Like right now, it's just
Mm-hmm.
sort of uh, everything just looks sort of hyper realistic,
Yeah.
and I don't know. We'll see what they do in the next year.
Yeah, and I think the other criticisms I've seen about it have just been people going like, "Why?" And
Yeah,
I kind of get that, but at the same time, for me, it feels like I feel like they're testing things with the Unreal Engine because they're moving to it. So this is a good way for some of their team to either train on Unreal and like get a feel for it. They're basically just allowing us to play something that they're testing with before they really get into full production on their main game. I could be wrong, but that's what it feels
yeah.
like to me.
Well,
That's
they're
kind of what
working
it.
on multiple projects at the same time as well.
Mhm.
Like I think people are being disingenuous by saying like, "Oh, this is pulling resources away." I also think it's a bit ridiculous and I know that it's not you just
Mhm.
like being um, I know like people are saying this, right? Like they're saying why remake this game,
Mhm.
but especially in the context of, there was Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary
Yeah, the
in
Master Chief Collection.
2011, I think.
Yeah.
But well, Combat Evolved Anniversary released before the Master Chief Collection,
Yeah.
and then they did Master Chief Collection in 2015 or four. It was
2015.
14. It must have been 14. Um, but all that being said, I Okay, like there were major issues with Combat Evolved Anniversary. I think like it completely missed the mark in terms of the original vibe of those games. It was pretty jank.
Yeah, you
They
mentioned like the
basically
flood
layered.
level
Yeah,
was
like that's
it
the
was
worst
so
example, right?
bright.
Is like they brightened up the swamp on the
Mhm.
343 Guilty Spark level, completely lost all of the sort of character that the original game had through that new visual design, and it was miserable. And then they also redid all the sounds and the music, and they're
Mhm.
taking a very different approach here. I think there's still a ways to go from a visual perspective. I think it's significantly better than Combat Evolved Anniversary,
Mhm.
but they're actually taking the original soundtrack and remastering
Mhm.
it instead of re-recording it.
Mhm.
I think that's a really good move. I think some of the sound effects sound significantly better as well. I think there's
Mhm.
maybe a little bit of room for them
It
to
feels a bit
improve
more
there.
like trying to preserve it than
Yes,
trying to just
yes,
like.
and it's a remake though. So like I understand that like Combat Evolved Anniversary was a remaster. It was not a
Mhm.
remake. And I
Yeah.
know that they showed just Silent Cartographer in this demo, and it looks very similar to the layout of
Mhm.
the original game.
Yeah.
I hope that they take some, you know, um, like agency and like
Mhm.
actually start to change some level design. I would not mind.
Mhm.
I mean, it's a new game, right? I
Yeah.
think the Resident Evil remakes, I hope they're looking to them as inspiration for like what the best
Yeah, I
remakes
think
look
that's
like. Um, yeah,
a good thing to look at.
yeah.
I didn't see or like look much about the Metal Gear Solid Delta remake, but I've heard good things about it.
It's 1-to-1. It's like
Yeah.
1-to-1 with the PS2
So
version.
so
Yeah,
it's an interesting thing of like are they gonna do it 1-to-1? Like because like the Oblivion, it's called a remaster because they
yeah,
didn't like remake the game. They just kind of basically added a bunch of shaders and fixed some quality of life stuff because the original Oblivion was super broken. Um,
yeah. Well,
which
you do know that there is new content though as well.
yes,
So those people who are
there
like
is.
questioning
Mm-hmm.
why does this exist, there are going to be three new missions at the front end of the game that
Mm-hmm.
explore the relationship between Chief and Sergeant Johnson, and I think
Mm-hmm.
that's super cool. We haven't seen Sergeant Johnson in a Halo game since
Mm-hmm.
Halo 3,
Mm-hmm.
so because he got cooked. Spoilers, I guess, but um, yeah, I mean, I think it's exciting to bring him back and like give
Mm-hmm.
more context to them. Like, why not?
Yeah.
It doesn't change or like tarnish the original story. It
Mm-mm.
adds to it, and I think it sounds cool. So I'm excited
Yeah.
for it. I mean, I'm optimistic. Let's say
Yeah, I
that.
am too. I'm generally as long as it doesn't feel like just like a soulless cash grab kind of thing, then I'm generally like a fan of this sort of thing. So because it feels like there's actual work being put into it, there's actual thought and care, and they're really just trying to like, hey, this game's kind of hard to play now on modern systems, and most people aren't happy, like you said, with the 2011 remaster. So let's just really give people like what it felt like to play this game back in 2003, 2000, something like that. I can't remember when.
Halo 1 came out
2001.
in 2001.
Okay,
Yep.
2001. Um,
And I'm planning to. That's actually what I'm going to do
I
next.
think Halo
I just
2
wrapped
is
up
2 is
Pokemon Legends ZA, and I'm going to
nice.
play Halo CE tonight on the
Mm-hmm.
original Xbox on
Very
my
nice.
CRT TV.
Oh,
So
that'll be
I've never
cool.
played it on the original Xbox, so it'll be fun.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. Do you
Yeah.
have a way to set up your capture card with that?
I do, but it's
It's
such
a
a cluttered
pain.
mess in that
Don't worry
room
about it.
because I have so many knickknacks and stuff. I can try though. I
All
can
right,
try.
if you try, that'd be cool. We can talk about that later.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm excited for the campaign evolved. I think I have no problem with these things if like they're utilizing it probably to help create some tools in the Unreal Engine that help them get the right feel of Halo um into the Unreal Engine. So I could be totally off base about that, but that's what I like
I
to
hope,
think.
yeah, and I hope they tap into some of the resources at Microsoft because the Coalition, who took over the Gears of War franchise, I know that they've sort of tampered with the aesthetic of Gears of War, but there's been no question about those
Hmm.
releases they've had that have run in an Unreal Engine have been like pristine performance compared to other developers. So they seem to be like pros with the Unreal Engine tools. So hopefully, Halo Studios, as they're called now,
Hmm.
like works with them to find
Hmm.
get their people trained up.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
here's hoping that that game is good. I'm definitely gonna try it out as long as they're not gonna try to charge $70 for it. Um,
Yeah, actually, what is your guess? You want to take a ballpark
because
estimate? Call it now.
I think it's gonna be 50.
I was gonna say
Um,
50 as
it's a
well.
remake.
In
But I
this
think they're gonna
economy,
since it is a remake, I don't think they're gonna go below 50. I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to do like 60. And
if they
because
go
there's like,
70, they're batshit
oh,
crazy. No
it's awful. Yeah,
multiplayer.
that's a terrible. It would be terrible. I even think 50
We
is
didn't even
kind of,
say we didn't even say Halo is now on PlayStation. I think that's
yeah,
like the most shocking component of all of this because it's just like
it
this is the
is
end.
and it isn't.
Xbox is I mean, Xbox is so over. It's over.
They're just transitioning into something else, and Xbox as we know it is over. I'll agree with you there. And like people's like, oh, the console wars are over. Sony won. I'm just like, I mean, like not really. It's just like I wouldn't say Sony
Do you want to
necessarily won so
transition
much as
into the next
Xbox gave
thing?
up. Yeah, yeah, we can.
Is the next thing the Steam machine? Because I think it's
Yeah,
kind of related.
so
Yeah,
so the Steam machine that
that's a thing.
Valve just came out with a video about some new hardware. They at first everyone thought I think it was going to be like a another Steam Deck sort of thing, but there's like
They
nope.
thought it was gonna be Half-Life 3.
Yeah, well that could still be potentially be a thing, but I'm always a big proponent of like don't get your hopes up. This is a huge problem that people have with this sort of thing, and
I am always ready to be disappointed.
because it's the same thing with everyone who every single year is like, where's Bloodborne remastered or remade and Bloodborne
Where
2?
is it though? I think it's a valid
It's
question.
coming out as a Switch 2 exclusive, is what it is. It's that
Oh, that weird game, yeah. Duskbloods, right?
Dusk Bloods or something. Yeah, I was like, wow, that's the most Bloodborne
But they
feeling
can't
thing.
even get Elden Ring running on the Switch
Uh
2, so
huh.
good luck with that.
Yeah, so see how that goes. But like so like I'm a big proponent of like don't get your hopes up too much because of how often people have been like, where's Half-Life 3? And the people that make Half-Life 3 are like, hey, shut the hell up.
Nothing makes me more pumped than like people in the online just dialogue like finding something that they're like I think this means something because the way that the Steam event was first hinted at was there was a chunk of time on Steam where they had in the events calendar there was a chunk of time with nothing going on and
Hmm.
people had assumed because I think the last time Valve did this it was an announcement for the Steam Deck. So people
Hmm.
were like, "Oh, this got to be something." And people initially thought because there's been rumors that it was Half-Life 3, but no, it's
Hmm.
this it's Steam Machine. And I think
Yeah.
there's still rumors that Half-Life 3 is coming,
There
but
is there's an unannounced
unconfirmed.
unconfirmed project that is in the works. Is there's that it's called like Dreadnoughts or something like that. I can't remember. There's one game that is
Well, there's
announced.
it's like NDA'd or something, but every like you can
Um
see people playing it on Steam.
uh-huh. Yeah.
So,
And so
yeah.
but there's another project that has not been announced, and it would be like it would shoot Valve through the stratosphere of
Through
like
the scrotum?
it. It would be an astronomical gaming moment
Yeah.
for them to come out with the Steam the Steam machine, the new Steam machine, because there have been other
Yes.
Steam machines. But this
Which
one
I forget
sounds
about
pretty
because those
solid.
were
Yeah,
so
they were
those
so
just came and
forgettable.
went.
They have a new controller, they have a new headset, which is also pretty kind of sick looking.
And the
Um
headset I think is like it's like a self-contained thing, right? Kind of like the opt
yeah.
or the
Yeah, it
whatever
is.
the
Like you can
yeah,
connect it to I
the
think
Quest,
it's
Meta Quest.
considered to be like best used with like the Steam machine or your computer, but I think it can kind of do its own thing, but it's best to use with a PC. Like a Meta Quest is.
We are
So
never getting Half-Life Alex on PlayStation VR 2,
no,
which is
PlayStation
so
VR is
sad.
so dead. Um
I know. I know.
Disappointing. I
That was
mean,
a
I
bad
didn't get it.
investment on my
Yeah.
part.
It was a bad investment on their part. Maybe if they didn't spend so much time on the live service games, we'd have more VR games. Anyway, so I think it'd be really cool to see Half Life Alex. I'm not even like not that I'm like I can't say I'm not a fan. I just haven't played them. I haven't played really any
Brother,
Valve
come
games. I haven't
on.
even played the Portal games. I'm a terrible
What?
gamer. I know I'm a terrible gamer. Okay, I spent a lot of my childhood playing Lord of the Rings: Two Towers, Lord of the Rings: Return of the King.
Growing up though, did you have anyone around you who played Half-Life 2?
Not really. No.
See,
Maybe.
I remember distinctly in 2004 when the game came out. I was at my babysitter's house with my sister, and I went down the basement where her brother had like a man cave. He's like a stay-at-home, like 20-something-year-old guy. But he had like this badass PC rig, and I just remember seeing Half-Life 2 on his computer, and that was like the first time that something looked like photorealistic in a game
Hmm.
to me. Like between the water rendering, the character animation, especially in the
Hmm.
face, and just the world rendering in general was
Well, you
so
never told me about it, so
amazing.
um,
Well,
I'm
it
kidding.
was like it was like one of those things where I never grew up like really playing PC games. I can't even remember when
Neither did I.
I think I ended up playing Half-Life 2 on my Mac at
Oh,
some
okay.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah. But and it was on Orange Box. It was on PS3 and Xbox,
Hmm.
but yeah.
Yeah.
It's an amazing game. It
Yeah,
deserves all the
I was
legacy that it
playing
has.
if they announce hold on, if they announce Half-Life 3, I will play through them. I'll probably still play through them anyway, but like when they announce it, that'll be a good time for me to jump into them and see what all the fuss about. Because yeah, even my wife really likes the Half-Life 3 games or the Half-Life games. Goodness,
She's already played it?
yeah, she's already played Half-Life 3. She's holding on to it. She's under NDA. Gabe Newell's gonna kill me. Uh,
But yeah, I think like it would be really exciting for Half-Life to make a return. I
it
think,
would.
If there's any time, now's the
It would
time.
be
It's been
such a
so
huge
long.
moment for them to have lined it up with the Steam
Yeah.
machine. That would be
Oh
incredible.
yeah,
Um,
for a launch title of the Steam Machine,
I
yeah.
feel like
But I think I was just gonna say, I think what's like super interesting about this
hmm
Steam Machine, it's a revival, right? We've talked about how they've had
hmm
Steam Machines before. They have such a strong,
track record
well, yeah,
right now.
they've already have like the momentum coming out of the
Hmm
Steam Deck, right? They got all this goodwill behind that device.
hmm
Uh, it's clearly the definitive sort of handheld PC, right? Gaming experience, and it's really amazing what they've been able to do with Linux, and they brought it so far in terms of
hmm
compatibility with games that are traditionally Windows only.
Yeah, and well,
It's become
the
preferred to
do you know
Windows in a lot
how?
of
Yeah, I was
ways.
about to say. Do you,
Yeah.
apparently studios also they don't have to make a Linux version. They can just port. They
Yes.
can just put in their
Yeah.
Windows
That Proton
version.
layer
That Proton layer
compatibility.
handles it, and I think they have people that just like play the games and like work out bugs in the Proton, and so it just
Hmm.
comes in seamlessly, and it's just like I don't understand how Valve functions as it does, but it's incredible.
It is.
It's
Yeah.
really impressive to see how well they're doing. And some people are saying it's like I don't think this is going to affect the console market that much, and I can understand why they would say that they because it really is it's an entry level PC, but it is kind of touching in the console market because they kind of advertise like you can hook it up to your TV. You can play Steam game like it's a console and just use
Yeah, it's
Steam
meant to be a
OS.
device for under the
Hmm
TV, right? Which I
Yeah,
think
but
where
it's
this is all
also just a
going,
computer. It's
yeah.
kind of what Xbox is kind of planning to do. Is they're basically just like, we're
Well, that's what I was gonna
making
say.
computers now. We're making PCs. We're moving away from being
Yeah,
just a console to trying to be more than that. And the Steam hardware is like, yeah, it can do both, but it can also be a console, which is pretty sick. You can use an Xbox controller. You can use a DualSense controller. You can use the new Steam controller, which a lot of people seem to be pretty excited about. They say it's a lot better.
even though it's ugly.
It is ugly, but like they have that touchpad there. They can't put the touchpad where the PlayStation one is
No.
because patents. But like apparently people say it's not. It's definitely a lot better than the old Steam controller was.
Yeah.
It looks really clunky. It looks hard to hold for me. I don't have huge hands, so I don't know with like
Hmm.
the analog sticks being so far in the middle if that's gonna feel weird or not. But I'd have to hold it to see. I probably wouldn't use it anyway. I'd probably just use a DualSense controller or a mouse and keyboard even. But being able to play my Steam library from the couch sounds great to me because I've been wanting to get Hades 2 and I've been kind of waiting for the physical edition to come out, which it's either already out or it's coming out soon.
I think it's in
On
like 4 days. I think it's this
Yeah, I
week.
think it's this week.
Yeah.
Um, I've been waiting for the physical edition, and I still haven't decided if I'm getting it on PS5 or if I'm just gonna get it on the Switch, the original Switch. To be clear, because I like the
Yeah.
portability of the Hades games. So,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I
I
would get it
can't.
on Switch too.
But like I'm also kind of thinking it's like, well, I'm probably not gonna get Switch 2 anytime soon, but like this makes the ecosystem of having a Steam Deck a lot more interesting to me. Because having the the Steam machine and like the ecosystem with the Steam Deck could be really nice because then I could play it on my TV out there, and I can play it handheld on the Steam Deck when I want to. And so it's making the Steam library so much more valuable. Am I going to be a day one Steam machine? No, probably not. But that's more of a financial thing than it is a like I want it. I can't go out and buy consoles every time they come out, fortunately. But
Well,
um,
the thing that's interesting though is that I think so. You mentioned before, like, how does this impact the console landscape or the console market? And I think the only player that I think it really impacts is Xbox and Microsoft, right?
mhm,
Because um, what's really weird is like Xbox and Asus just came out with
mhm,
a handheld gaming PC, which is just a
mhm,
souped up Asus ROG Ally basically.
yeah,
But it's an expensive freaking device. I think the entry level one is around like $700, and then the premium one is around $1,000, right?
mhm,
But they were also a couple years late, and all of the reviews or the impressions were essentially that still go for Steam Deck, right? There are too many
yeah,
compromises here using Windows that are
yeah,
limiting the
100%.
experience, and it's not as user friendly. All these different things. So they still have a ways to go from like making Windows user friendly for gamers, right?
Yeah.
But
It may be a different story if any Xbox game weren't a day one release on Steam, but
yeah,
they're all day
it's a
one
day one
releases
release on
on
everything.
everything.
Everything's an Xbox, Drew.
Um,
Um, but the
exactly.
thing,
Well, like PlayStation is the only one that generally is getting some delayed releases on some of them, like Indiana
they
Jones
still
was a
don't
good
have
example.
Starfield.
They still don't have
They still
Starfield.
don't
I'm
have
sure
Starfield.
it's
People are
on
kicking
the
themselves to
way.
play that Starfield. Everyone wants to play Starfield.
Yeah, I'm really
Um,
hurting having not played it
but
on
but
my
no, but the thing
PlayStation.
is, like, they were like 3 years late after the Steam Deck to enter into that sort of foray into the handheld PC market, and now they're going to be late again to this PC console hybrid
Mhm.
thing, right? Because this Steam machine is going to be coming out within a year. It's going to be a budget machine. They've already
Mhm.
been talking about it. I bet you it will be less. It's not as powerful as the current gen consoles, so it's going to be probably less than
Mhm.
$500.
Yeah,
$500 max, I would
how
say.
much is a Steam Deck?
I think you can get one for around 400 now. I'm pretty
I think
sure.
the Steam Deck will be right around $500. Sorry, the Steam machine.
The Steam machine.
I think
The
that like
Steam
like in
machine.
terms of like an entry level gaming PC, like that's incredible with the
The the Steam Deck LCD is 399. So I had that right. So it's
okay.
around $400. So your guess is 500 for the Steam machine?
500, they could, I think they could even push 600 with it. I mean, like that's
Yeah.
like if you want to get a good gaming PC, you're spending at least $1,000.
Well,
Um,
and so I think that's more what Xbox is aiming for, right? They're
mhm,
their executives, Sarah Bond has been saying, we're going to have a premium priced machine next time around. They've been alluding to it being this, PC console hybrid. So it's going to be the Steam machine and the next Xbox are going to be competing for a similar market, but one's going to be a premium price machine and one's going to be more of a budget option.
mhm.
And I don't think Xbox and Microsoft has built up enough goodwill to convince people that to pay a premium
No,
price for one of these devices, which is a new concept as well, right? It's a new concept.
yeah.
And they're going to be probably a fast follow to the Steam machine because they have not announced anything. There's maybe a
Hmm.
2027 estimated date, I think, on it. But I don't see they've been alienating their existing base by changing their delivery model into subscription services away from physical games, all this stuff. And then they're asking people to come back for a premium price, and it's not even what, people expect from Xbox. It's
Hmm.
going to be really difficult for them. I think this Steam machine is going to be a surefire hit. Like I said, it's riding the wave of the Steam Deck. They've already sort of like built the groundwork for Steam OS and that sort of like Linux based system, and the compatibility's been great. I think the
Hmm.
one thing they're gonna have to get around is the fact that anti-cheat right now for a lot of games is not compatible with Linux.
Hmm.
I think that's something that they need to resolve. Games like Call of Duty and Destiny
Hmm.
2 do not work on the Steam Deck, and that'll probably be the same case with that, and they'll be pretty limiting. But once they figure that out, I think it's smooth sailing. Good for them. I mean, I
Hmm.
I like Valve. I mean, it's weird because they have like a monopoly on the digital storefront scene. I mean, it's like the best place to buy your digital games
Hmm.
easily. They have,
100%.
but they
Yeah.
but they but they constantly have really good sales, right? I
Hmm.
think
Yeah.
they don't they
Great
don't seem to
sales.
be totally going power hungry with controlling so much of the digital game market.
Yeah,
But
it's really weird to see
yeah.
because I feel like any other company would have totally abused that monopoly that Valve has. And
Hmm.
I think, well, because also I think the other reason like Valve has that monopoly is because of the fact that they have these amazing sales. They know that this is how they keep that market.
Hmm.
And like I mean I can't count how many games I bought on sale one that I haven't played, or other games that I bought on sale and I put hundreds of hours into. So
Yeah.
like just absolutely made it worth my while to
Hmm.
get a game that like anywhere else I would have had to pay $60 that I probably wouldn't have paid. I wouldn't have given put any money into this game, but and then the
Right.
DLCs being cheaper as well. Like I put more money into it. I put more money into these games than I ever would have considered. Like it's either like I put in a total of $50, including DLCs and stuff, or I put nothing in. Um, and stuff like over time, of course, but and so like it's such a really smart strategy. But I also think pivoting back to the hardware stuff, I want this thing to sell gangbusters. I'm rooting for this so hard because like PlayStation and Sony are getting a little too big for their britches. Same thing happened after the PS2 was so successful. They came out the PS3 and it's like this thing's uber expensive and really complicated, can do a lot. It's a very powerful system, but it was such a mess to like develop for and everything, and like it was expensive um and it had all these issues, and that kind of forced they spent a long time trying to catch up to the Xbox 360 because that was just at the time where multiplayer was really taking off. And we originally got a PS3, and like while I liked the single player experience, it was around the time we all wanted to play Halo and stuff together, so we got an Xbox
Yeah.
360 so we could all play Halo because the online for the Xbox was astronomically better than the PlayStation.
Yeah.
Remember Warhawk? Um,
Oh yeah.
what a great game. But
I
on the
would play that
PlayStation,
again. I want
oh,
I want to bring that back.
I would totally play Warhawk. That's the live service game we need.
Somebody's revived the
PlayStation,
servers for that, but
yeah.
I haven't I haven't
Um,
experimented with it.
but so because I think going into the next gen, Like I'm worried about what price Sony's gonna try to charge with everything, especially like all the rumors that they're trying to do their own portable console sort of thing. That's probably gonna have a combination of their remote play features with the Portal and the cloud features that are now with the Portal, which are under a paywall, which is annoying. Um, you have to have PlayStation Premium to be able to use the cloud gaming for the Portal, which is
Hmm.
a little frustrating because like if you pay for the Portal, I feel like you should get some access to playing in the cloud, but I guess they got to keep. I guess you could argue it's just like yeah, it's the subscription for the um, cloud streaming, and for just the PlayStation in general. So, um, but they're doing that. So what's PlayStation going to charge for their next console now that Xbox isn't really going to be a contender because they're kind of gunning for the Switch, they're kind of gunning for the Steam Deck. And so having something that feels like you can kind of compete with that in the Steam Machine and the Steam Deck, I don't know how much integration there will be between them. Like if you're at home and you're wanting to play handheld and you can do something like the Portal does with the Steam
I
Deck, that'd
have
be pretty
something
great. Yeah,
I
go
can
for it.
tell you, something really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently, if you have your games on a micro SD card, and it does not have to be a express card. I think it can just be a regular micro SD
Mm-hmm.
card. You can just take it out of the Steam Deck, pop it into your Steam machine, and your games will work if the games are on there, which is super cool. Which is a really weird sort of like it's like the antithesis of the way that we think about new
Mm-hmm.
systems, right? Because it's actually, especially like a PC based system, and Steam, which is like a digital only system, but there's an element of physicality there where you pop your little
Mm-hmm.
card out and put it in,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, you can play your games immediately, which is so
So
cool.
and so yeah, I think the Steam Machine doing well is can only do good in the gaming world, even with like giving people the option for a really affordable gaming PC that can play newer games. Like you're not much compromise for it, and it can still function as a PC. Is it going to function as well as getting a $2,000 computer? No, but the fact that like I mean 6 Steam Decks, that's still pretty solid.
Six,
And
seven,
yeah, um, and I also think like if they end up doing like a second series of Steam Decks and adding more integration within the Steam machine and the Steam ecosystem, will only do better for it. Like having some sort of remote play capable, being able to hook up your Steam Deck to it and like adding a little bit of extra power to the Steam machine. If you're not using your Steam Deck, you just basically adds a little extra power to the computer. Great. I
yeah. I think it's really interesting because like I think the competition across games in general, or like these different platforms that you can play on, because it's no longer just consoles, right? There's
mhm,
all these different handhelds and uh, like digital storefronts, all this stuff. The competition is the method of delivery of gaming,
mhm,
right? It's like how can we make it more convenient? How can we make it more like a better value? And by value, I don't mean prices because everyone is
mhm,
cranking their prices up, but things like Game Pass, right? Like how do we
mhm.
evolve how players are consuming games and create a unique value proposition? It's not just about the exclusives anymore, which I think is a completely different landscape.
Yeah,
And it's a
yeah,
shame though, because I think, well, it's not a shame. I actually think it's a double-edged sword, right? Like I
yeah.
think
It's just an
you're seeing
evolving
great
industry.
innovation.
Yeah.
Well, you're seeing great innovation from like the hardware side, or even from like the networking side with like some of the cloud streaming stuff. But you're losing some of that like unique gameplay experiences, and that's why things are moving more towards like back to the live service thing, right? It's all about these subscriptions and consumption and new methods of delivery, and I think that's what the focus is now instead of these like individual games.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, um, and like I mean, it feels like everyone's kind of doing their own thing, which is such an interesting like they've all got their toe dipped in each bit a little bit, but they're all leaning in very different directions. And it's another reason like Nintendo's getting a little too cocky about things. Like I mean, and like this whole game ownership thing is becoming more and more of an issue with it like them having the like the key code cartridges instead of like the actual game being on the
Key
cartridge.
card.
Yeah, the key card, the digital, it's just a
Ain't shit
digital
on those
code.
cards.
And it's so dumb. And the fact that you don't even like fully own your console when you have a Switch 2, they can brick it at any time, which technically I feel like since like your console is connected to the internet, any company could brick your console if they wanted to. Like
Yep.
you don't have that control. If they wanted to shut it down, they would shut it down. And I'm sure like people would find a way to make their own like versions of the OS that they were created on and basically jailbreak it. But I think like that is a thing where I feel like you probably don't own most of the things that you think you own, but at the same time, I don't know if like the PS5 has that in their terms of service like Nintendo does. So
Yeah.
it's such a weird thing, and it's kept a lot of people from getting the Switch too. Not only is it more expensive and everything, but just that
Yep.
issue of it, and like eventually I might get one because there are some games I do want to play, but at the same time it is more hesitant. Like I like physical games, and it does kind of feel like the entire industry is really trying to push it out, and maybe we'll get a resurgence at some point where it'll shift to kind of just being more of a um like it's a cool special edition you can buy online and you get the physical copy, you can play the physical version of it.
Yeah,
um
everything's gonna be limited run games and
yeah,
false rarity and people fighting each other over
yeah, so
scalper prices.
it'll be weird, and I like the convenience of digital, but like the security of physical is always nice to have, and it really sucks when you get a game that has a campaign it's like it's online only. It's like, why? What is the what?
I think one of the things that goes underappreciated this generation, while I know that it still has like, a long way to go in terms of proving itself, is the backwards compatibility options. I think
Hmm.
across Xbox and PlayStation, it's been
Yeah.
really nice to have that sort of seamlessly integrated.
Hmm.
The Xbox, especially, oh my God, I played so many original Xbox and 360 games this generation on the Series X,
Yeah.
and that's been a really nice convenience just being able to pop that
Yeah.
disc in and play old
Yeah,
games.
and hopefully that continues. I'm also worried. It's like, how long is that going to
Yeah.
last? How long are we going to be
Right.
able to
When they
play
start getting
those
rid of our
games on
disk drives
them?
in general, it's
Yeah,
gonna
it's
be ugh.
so like you'll
Yeah,
just have
that's
to
the end.
always have that last console that can play those games, kind of thing.
Hmm.
Either that, or they're going to eventually, it's like, we're going to remaster all these games again. Um, so
Yeah.
I don't know. It's an interesting landscape. I always want to be optimistic. I'm never gonna like. I mean, the idea is like everyone's like Xbox is dying, and I'm just like, I hope not. Like, I mean, I don't love the direction they're going in. But at the same time, it does kind of feel like. Also, they spent too much money on Blizzard and Activision. If we want to talk about another company that probably spent too much, um, it's probably less worrisome than the Bungie one, because World of Warcraft
Yeah.
is kind of that big. Blizzard kind of is almost that big.
I thought you
Um,
were gonna say World of Warcraft is that bitch.
it is that bitch.
Yeah. Yeah, she
Um,
is.
and I mean, I don't know how you feel about like the Bethesda acquisition, if that was too much or not. Just because of like,
Well, I think all of it compiles, right, and to a point
hmm,
where they spent so much that it's unreasonable for them to earn it back. And that's why you're
yeah.
seeing all these sort of cuts and quick restructuring because they're in a hurry to, prove the value of those purchases.
It feels like that like every studio was in a rush to purchase, and now it's after the fact and there isn't that much to show for it, and now there's like, oh shoot, we're kind of paying for that now, and
Yeah.
it's really causing a weird restructuring in the gaming industry. um
Hmm. What a time.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like we could talk about this for a while, but I think we touched on quite a bit about it. I think it'll be interesting to see where things go with the Steam Machine and the coming years, where the next generation of gaming is going to be in terms of hardware. I mean, like Nintendo started theirs, so it'll be interesting to see what they do with their new hardware, and taking advantage of that, because the fact that Tears of the Kingdom ran on the Nintendo Switch is wild. I mean, even Breath of the Wild running on it feels kind of crazy. So like, um I guess if anyone wants to look at an example on how to optimize for a
Yeah.
console, look at the Legend of Zelda team, because that's very impressive what they were able to do. And
Don't look at
yeah,
Pokemon.
don't look at Pokemon. Pokemon should learn from them, and a lot of other studios should learn from them. I don't know if some sort of compression technology comes out, that would be a big change, but that's just speculation at that point. So yeah, I'm optimistic. I hope that the Steam Machine does well. I want something to put a fire under Xbox and PlayStation to come out with reasonable consoles. Xbox isn't going to, because they've already kind of said that they weren't. But I don't want an $800 PlayStation. Um, like maybe consider it if it comes with the portable option as well, and a disc drive. But like
What are you asking for a
that's
Wii U?
yeah, I'm asking for a Wii U, um, but better. I'm asking for a PS6 Nintendo Switch. Um,
We have
basically,
to go back.
we have to go back.
What's old is new again.
Yeah, exactly. What are you playing right now?
So I just put a bow on Pokemon Legends ZA
Mm-hmm.
last night. That game looks like it's a PS2 game, but it runs really smooth. It's got an addictive little gameplay loop.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I enjoyed collecting Pokemon and doing sort of ranking up from Z to A. It was a pretty enjoyable game, and the finale was pretty exciting, which
Mm-hmm.
is more than I can say about Scarlet and Violet. So I feel like it's a step
Mm-hmm.
in the right direction. But my buddy, who's like a big Pokemon guy, he was telling me how the budget was like $10 million or something, like tiny, like unheard of for this current day and age. It's like, where's the money going? You know, Pokemon Company, where and creatures and Game Freak, where are you reinvesting stuff? It must be in the card game or the anime
Mm-hmm.
or just
Yeah,
like
something.
merchandise because it's not going into the games. Um,
Well, they
but
didn't have
anyway,
to create any
yeah,
new Pokemon for it, so that's got to help a lot.
yeah.
Um,
Well, the big gimmick, right, in this one is that there's like real time combat. So
yeah.
there's actually a few moments that are really fun because there are
Mm-hmm.
these boss fights where they will target you, the player, while you're using your Pokemon to fight them, and you need to dodge out of the way. They're gonna like, do sudden moves, and it almost
Mm-hmm.
feels like a Souls game.
Mm-hmm.
You're like rolling around trying to dodge attacks while
Mm-hmm.
you're sort of spamming these cooldown moves
Mm-hmm.
from your Pokemon. I enjoyed the real time
Mm-hmm.
component. It kept things moving along, and they need voice acting. That's my like biggest
Yes, they
criticism, honestly.
really
Is like at
do.
this point, it's insane. Yeah, because like you hear there are cutscenes where like something huge will happen, and you'll hear like their like the characters' clothes whooshing and stuff,
Yeah,
and they're
it's
just going,
just so awkward.
yeah, it's so bad. So that's that game, and then the other game that I just beat recently was Silent Hill F. Really
Nice.
recommend it. I think it's kind of getting like an unfair shake online because spoiler alert, it
Got a
stars
few
a woman, and
nominations.
of course people.
But
Well, yeah,
game
but like
awards. But
those
yeah, the people
they're
online,
just
yeah.
people that are
I
being
saw
stupid.
Markiplier
Um,
play a little bit of it, and it looks great. He's terrible
yeah,
at it, but it
yeah.
looks great.
No,
Um,
the story and the vibe was very. Uh, it was perfect. Like for a Silent Hill game, I think it was truly unique in that it doesn't take place
mhm.
in Silent Hill proper. It's in like a different place, it's a different
That's
time,
also called
set in the
Silent Hill.
'60s in Japan. Yeah, yeah. No, it's not called Silent Hill.
Well, no,
The
it is.
town's
It
not
like
called.
well, it is, but in it's like it like kind of translates to Silent Hill in Japanese. I think.
Does it?
I think so.
I don't know. I didn't look it up. Okay, maybe
I
that's true.
I thought it did. I could
Uh,
be wrong.
yeah, I don't
Um,
know. I thought it was a real place, but I could be wrong.
maybe it is. I don't
But
know.
it just deals with like toxic friendships and like
I did notice that.
teenagers being like
Yeah.
jealousy, and then also just like gender roles in general. So I thought it was like
Mm-hmm.
really well
Mm-hmm.
done. Definitely recommend it. The combat's a little stiff.
Yeah.
Um, it also plays like a Souls game. Every game does this now. I don't know. Like
Yeah.
you dodge, you have like there's like a dodge command mechanic. There's like a block mechanic, and there's
Mm-hmm.
a
Yeah.
you just have to sort of like time up your attacks
Mm-hmm.
correctly. Um, but it was freaky. There was actually one part. It was actually the first game in a long time that made me a bit squeamish.
Mm-hmm.
There's only like a couple parts in particular. There's like one chunk of the game where like I'm not gonna spoil anything, but just like it has to do with like mutilation, which I can't deal
Mm-hmm.
with that. It's like gross.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw up. So
I'm not that great with horror games. Just like I was like,
no,
I don't want to feel anxiety when I'm playing a game. And I feel
yeah,
a lot of anxiety when I play horror games. And
Yeah.
so like I might be okay with like the Alan Wake games. I don't know how much you can consider those as horror,
Yeah.
um but like a game where like I know you can kind of fight back in Silent Hill F, but yeah, I'm like the Outlast games, can't do it. Um
Yeah.
like BioShock even at points was like a little, it's like I'm getting anxious about this, but that one was kind of a good
When they turn the
anxiety.
lights off on you and you
Oh
see the
my
shadow
god,
of the dude,
yeah.
oh yeah.
But it was like that was a good one. Like that's where it said well, but
I
it was
do I
just
do
this.
think horror games do such a good job of capturing like
Hmm.
making a place feel
Hmm.
very real. There's so much detail and like dense atmosphere.
Hmm.
And I love that about like horror games.
Like
I'm not like
Alien
really a person who likes like
Isolation
scary. Yeah,
is
yeah.
really
I like all
interesting.
that
Like
stuff.
I've
The
watched some
mystery as
playthrough
well
of that.
behind
Yeah,
all of
yeah,
it.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I kind of like doing watching playthroughs of it, and it's also just a time thing. It's like I have a limited amount of time for games, and horror games are
Yeah.
usually lower on my list. So I like to watch them instead, so that way I can still kind of experience it, but I don't have to feel like I have to like prepare myself for it. And like not that I can't necessarily handle it, it's just there's like I just want to relax, and this isn't gonna make me relax. um,
Yeah.
so no, that's great. So
And what about you? What have you been playing?
well, I finished Ghost of Yote. I
Oh,
won't,
nice.
I won't really say much about it. I liked it. I think it's a great game. We can talk about it. Like, we've talked about this game so much that like we'll talk about it off camera. Maybe I'll make a separate video about it if I really want to, but I'll wait till you're done with it. Um, and I am going through Pokemon Arceus because I had a
Nice.
hankering because I wanted to play ZA, and I was like, I'm not gonna buy a Switch 2. And I heard that it doesn't play great on the original Switch, so I'm just
Probably
gonna play
true.
Arceus because I never beat Arceus. I have a really bad habit of not beating Pokemon games. And so I'm going to try to beat that. And then I'm also playing through the Oblivion Remastered. I got it when it came out, played it a little bit, dropped it, and then and then Chad got it. So excuse me, we've kind of been playing through that together a little bit, so that's been fun. And I'm really
Nice.
enjoying it. It gives you that feel of the old one, and it fixes a lot of the jank and the broken aspects, especially the leveling system. I think the reason I never beat Oblivion is because I was a kid and I didn't pay attention to all the RPG things. I was like, I just want to go hit stuff with the sword um, and throw magic spells at things, and that was kind of
Hmm.
that. I would do the arena and I would do the Dark Brotherhood quests, and then that would be it. But now I'm like actually exploring the games. Like this game is fantastic. Like
Oh
in for the
yeah.
longest time, like I always enjoyed the world of Oblivion more than Skyrim. Especially like this the story and the quests are so much better in Oblivion. And not that Skyrim didn't do some things for the better. They didn't. They definitely made certain things better than Oblivion, but overall, I feel like I have a more connected experience to Oblivion in that world than I do Skyrim, because Skyrim is so bleak, and
Yeah.
everything, and the
It feels
story.
more like generic fantasy to
Yeah,
me.
it is
Um,
because it's just like you're the chosen one, and
yeah.
like I mean, having the dragons is cool, and the dragon shouts is also cool, but at the same time,
It's just like
it's
a product
just
of that era. I feel
yeah,
like
it
everything
is. It's
started to go like
just
dark and gritty, sort of.
and it just
Um,
and it's supposed to be kind of like Nordic inspired, so I get it. It's snowy, it's
mhm.
and everything, and like Skyrim's a great game. Don't get me wrong, but just like I
Yeah.
feel so much more connected to the world and the story and the characters in Oblivion than I ever did in Skyrim.
Well,
So
you
I've
know,
been really
Oblivion's
enjoying
on
that,
my
and
Mount Rushmore of games, so
yeah, I think it's
it
up
is
there
that good.
for me too. It's really such a great game. And like I think like
Yeah.
I well you could say that Skyrim and Oblivion stand on the pillar that Morrowind built.
Yep.
But like Oblivion just like it just really feels like that perfect that where they really had everything right. At least, well, the remastered at least fixed the things that were wrong about it, but in the remastered version, like just how I don't know, I'm just having a great time. And Pokemon Arceus is still great now, like 3 years later. I think I'm excited to see how it transitioned into ZA. When ZA was announced, I was a little disappointed that it wasn't going to still be in kind of like the like feudal era. Um,
Yeah.
because I thought that was really interesting thing to explore within the games, but
Yeah, this
and it
one's
being
like
in
a
a
sequel to
city
Pokemon X and Y.
XY, yeah. Um, so I think it's great, and I always thought it's like, man, why didn't they just take Scarlet and Violet like and make it like this? But they kind of came out like the same year, didn't they? Arceus and Scarlet and Violet. It was like,
Very close. It
yeah,
was
they
like
came out
less than
very
a
close. So I
year
was like,
apart.
okay,
Yeah.
so like obviously they were just developing these two games separately, and
Everything's a cash grab, Drew, over there.
so I'm very curious to see the next Pokemon game, how much they're going to, are they going to just have Legends be like, okay, we're going to have Legends be the like real-time battle experience, and then we're going to have the classic game still be the regular turn-based, or who knows, maybe they make it a thing where you can choose between the two. You can turn off the real time and um turn on the turn based and vice versa.
Hmm.
I'm very curious to see what they do with it, because the Legends games has a great gameplay loop. Um, it takes all of the, I want to say it takes the tediousness out of it, but there's still some tediousness in Arceus. There's always going to be grind in Pokemon games no matter what, but like
Yeah.
the gameplay
Well,
loop of
I
it is
agree.
is
I think
great.
it's interesting because I don't think that like Scarlet and Violet did just like build on Arceus, right? That was like a
Hmm.
separate thing.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so it'll be
It
interesting if
was
they take
it
anything from
it
here and
built
move
off of
forward.
Sword and Shield, which
Yeah.
fun fact, Sword and Shield's one of the only Pokemon games I beat because it's literally one of the easiest games ever.
It stinks.
It wasn't great. It
Yeah.
was definitely a game that felt like there's like, this really should be a 3DS game. Um
This
but
could have been an email.
yeah, this could have been an email. So yeah, that's what I've been playing. I don't think I'm playing anything else. I'm gonna jump into Hades 2 soon. Um,
Nice.
and I'm very excited about that because I've been trying to avoid as many spoilers as I can. So yeah, thank you everyone for joining us. If you have any comments about any of the topics we talked about, we'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments. What are your thoughts on the Steam machine and the state of the console and just the gaming industry in general at this point? Because this is kind of unprecedented what's happening here. So, what are your thoughts on the Halo remake? Bungie and Destiny 2 and PlayStation's whole live service debacle.
Could you
Um,
imagine a world where Bungie, okay, this is, you're in 2007. You're telling a small child in 2007 that Bungie's going to be owned by Sony and Halo will be on PlayStation, but they won't develop it.
yeah, that's
Also, Xbox is dying.
he also, Xbox is dying and Donald
Forgot to
Trump is
mention that.
president.
Yeah.
He's just telling you, he's like, what happened? I would have told you
Yeah.
that's a Simpsons skit or something.
Yeah.
Which it
We live
probably
in a
was.
strange timeline.
Yeah, it's very strange, and yeah, it's a wild world we live in.
Hmm. But tune in for the next
Yeah,
podcast because
yeah.
I'm sure there'll be something else crazy going
Oh
on.
yeah, most definitely we'll probably be talking about the Game Awards. The Game Awards might have happened by then. Who knows?
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
but thank you so much for joining. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.